Hello, my name is Svetlana Chavez, and welcome to my Master of Arts in Education Plan of Study Artifact Analysis presentation. The purpose of this presentation is to demonstrate how my learning journey and professional experience throughout the MAE program align with and demonstrate mastery of the four MAE program learning outcomes. I will walk you through each course and selected artifact from each of the courses in my plan of study and explain how each artifact aligns with the introduced, developed, or mastered framework of the PLOs. There are four PLOs that guide my learning throughout the program. Each course contributed to my growth throughout artifacts that demonstrate how I internalized and applied these competencies. PLO 1 integrated advanced approaches to instruction, assessment, and learning using digital tools and skills. PLO2 helped me design learning experiences that include learners' characteristics, principles of customized learning, and assessments as learning. 3, applied practitioner research methods to study and inform instructions in traditional and digital learning environments. And PLO4 helped me develop reflective practices that are grounded in current learning science research, professional ethics, and include pathways to continuous growth. This slide shows how each course aligns with specific PLOs, introductory, developing, or mastery level, demonstrated in each of the artifacts I selected. Table summarizes all the coursework, PLO alignments, and IDM designations. It shows how my learning progressed in complexity from foundational understanding to advanced applications across the program. Each artifact contributes to a comprehensive picture of my professional growth. My very first course that I took in the MAE program is the ITL 600, Becoming a Teacher. This course helped me to develop the identity of an educator. It allowed me to learn to recognize the diversity of each of my students, as well as building my confidence to build cultural competence within my classroom, as it taught me to analyze myself, become aware, and stand on my ethical practices to become a competent educator. It is because of that I selected the cultural iceberg, not only because it was my first assignment, but because it required me to look deeply at my own cultural identity, values, and world views. It taught me to deeply look into who I am. This assignment aligns with the PLO4 at the introduced level because it helped me to understand how personal experiences shape teaching. This artifact marks the beginning of my reflective journey and highlights the importance of self-awareness as it motivates me to analyze my own identity, worldviews, and personal biases to promote a better, equitable, and inclusive classroom environment. The next class I took was ITL 604, Learners and Learning 1. This course helped me to develop the ability to identify learners' assets and learning needs by understanding their cultural background, academic linguistics, and social emotional learning characteristics to design a more responsive instruction. The abstract I chose for this course is the assets identification of three focus students. This assignment showed how I began to identify learners' background, strengths, and areas for support to design a more effective instructional approach that will result in better outcomes for all three of my students. This assignment aligned with PLO2 at the introductory level because it taught me how learners' characteristics influence instruction and is evidenced by the strengths-based approach as it allowed me to connect the students' assets to instructional strategies demonstrating understanding of diverse learners' needs. In ITL 606, I learned how to design and implement effective instruction and adapt them to the different developmental stages. I learned to analyze the various assessment techniques to create inclusive and balanced environment. So the artifact I chose is the theory to practice reflection. This assignment aligns to PLO 1 because it requires applying learning science and principles to instructional approaches. At the developing level, I transition from understanding theories to analyzing how they are meaningful to practice. So practice to theory allowed me to connect learning theories such as constructivism and behavioral in real classrooms. It helped me to demonstrate how I applied research-based instructional models to improve learning outcomes. Now, ITL 608, its objective is to teach candidates how to design and evaluate effective instruction by integrating principles of learning theories and human development into a model of planning, teaching, analyzing, and reflecting. This process ensures equitable access to curriculum for all students, including those with diverse needs, and focuses on designing instructional plans based on student data and using a variety of teaching strategies and assessments. Therefore, I selected the lesson plan stages 1 and 2 to demonstrate my growth in instructional design. I used assessment as learning, clear objectives, and differentiation strategies. This artifact aligns with PLO1 and PLO2 at the developing level because it requires applying instructional frameworks to real classroom planning. Now, entering a different phase in my MAE program, I took ITI 670, Introduction to SEL. This course provided students with foundational understanding of social emotional learning, SEL, by analyzing its components, comparing theoretical orientations, and assessing their own social emotional functioning. The course aimed to equip students with the ability to evaluate evidence-based SEL interventions and prepare them to provide comprehensive and effective services to students. TI 670 gave me the opportunity to discover social emotional learning theories and interventions to address the students' needs. However, SEL action research brainstorming was my first exploration into SEL-based practitioner research. Throughout the course, we needed to identify a SEL-focused problem of practice and brainstormed possible research methods. Therefore, my brainstorming artifact shows how I began defining a problem of practice and considered possible research approaches. This assignment aligns with PLO3 at the introductory level. TI 672, SEL in Action, gave me the opportunity to evaluate, defend, and differentiate evidence-based social emotional learning strategies, interventions, and practices, and to assess the impact of school, home, Community partnerships. The course culminates in students completing an inquiry project focused on supporting current research and implementing these strategies for various age and grade levels. Therefore, for this class, I selected Teachers as Agents of Change as my artifact. It aligns with PLO4 because it demonstrates reflective practice grounded in ethics, SEL theory, and professional responsibility. In this course, I learned how teachers act as agents of change by identifying opportunities to strengthen teacher-students relationship. This artifact reflects on equity-centered SEL practices and my role in implementing them, aligning with PLO4 at the developing level. TI 674, Research in Social Emotional Learning, has the objective to enable students to explore different research designs for measuring SEL and to finalize a formal research proposal on a specific SEL related issue or problem. By exploring research designs that measure social emotional learning at both individual and school levels. TI 674 represents my mastery of practitioner research. My action research proposal shows my ability to design a rigorous, ethical, grounded SEL study. This aligns with PLO3 at the mastery level as it demonstrates that it requires designing a complete practitioner research study grounded in methodologies and evidence-based SEL frameworks. To the end of the MAE program, I took MAE 610, Plan of Study and Practice Research. Its objective is to guide students in developing a personal plan of study and a foundational understanding of practitioner research. This involves selecting emphasis courses that align with the MAE program learning outcomes and becoming familiar with different practitioner research paradigms and methodologies used in education. Part of the course required for students to develop a personal plan of study, evaluate the principle of practitioner research, establish a roadmap for their MAE program, and get essential knowledge for future research. The plan of study and research proposal draft from MAE 610 demonstrates my ability to design a relational practitioner research study. It aligns with PLO3 at the mastery level. This artifact shows my ability to identify variables, create a research question, develop a method section, and propose a study grounded in practitioner research. It was a key step in preparing for the major research work in MAE 670 as I needed to analyze research source study, citing methods, variables, and implications requiring review and analyzing of a published practitioner research study. EDA 645, Managing Finances and Operational, focuses on providing students with a comprehensive overview of how educational institutions, especially higher education, are funded and managed from a financial and operational perspective. The objectives include understanding funding sources for public, nonprofit, and private higher education institutions. Students also had to analyze financial trends that affect the higher education system and learn about the crisis and operational management that could hinder the funding allocation. In ETA 645, the selected artifact is financial and sustainability and student debt addressing the crisis threatening higher education. This is a policy and finance based analysis showing how operational decisions impact educational system. This assignment aligns with PLO4 at the developing level. This artifact analyzes complex financial and ethical challenges in higher education, such as sustainability and student debt. This paper, furthermore, analyzes financial inequities and systemic barriers in education. It aligns with PLO4 because it demonstrates reflective and ethical reasoning grounded in research and policy analysis. This developing level artifact shows how financial and operational decisions influence equity and student success. In the finish line, we have MAE 670. Its purpose is to apply practitioner research and custom study to develop a research proposal, create a portfolio of digital artifacts aligned with program outcomes, and evaluate the effectiveness of the custom plan of study. This involves designing a research question, developing a practitioner research proposal, and creating a reflective presentation to demonstrate alignment with the Master of Arts in Education programs, learning outcome. It fully demonstrated PLO3 and PLO4 at the mastery level because it was created, refined, and aligned to a real instructional context. MAE 670 represents the culmination of my research and reflective practice skills. This proposal demonstrates the mastery level competence in PLO3 and PLO4 as mentioned before, as I designed, justified, and refined a practitioner research study aligned to my current teaching practice. Conclusion. This presentation reflects the development of my skills as an educator, researcher, and reflective practitioner. The MAE program has threatened my ability to create meaningful instruction, support diverse learners, analyze research, and grow professionally. These artifacts collectively show how I met all of my MAE program learning outcomes and how I will continue carrying these skills forward into my educational career. This presentation demonstrates growth from foundational to mastery across all PLOs, strong development in research, SEL integration, and reflective practice. It prepared me to lead, design, and evaluate instruction. It gave me confidence to enter the future professional roles that are yet to come. This portfolio reflects my commitment to reflective practice, research-informed instruction, and student-centered learning. Thank you for viewing my presentation. Once again, my name is Svetlana Chavez.